Have you ever been in a boring conversation and wanted to get the hell out of there? Have you ever felt like you've been boring in a conversation and thought, how can I make my conversation more interesting? Have you ever wondered how to communicate more effectively if you need to? And why is it that some people can get their point across really easily and some people just seem to waffle along? Really important questions. So how do you stop being boring? And there's two words to consider. I learnt these a very long time ago. Interesting and interested. If you are very interesting, it's all about you. People have to listen to you, talk about you. And what if you're not very interesting? Even if you think you are, what if you're not? And is it possible that people are more interested in themselves than they are in you? So if you want to create relationships, if you want to build superb communication between you and whether it's your partner, your family, your friends, a business person, something that's really important to you that's going to give you a life opportunity, could it be a really good idea to be interested in the other person, which means asking them about them? So there's a very magical question. It works every single time, which simply starts with, tell me about you. And you lean forward, maintain eye contact, open body language, and actually listen to what the person's got to say. Now, this next question could be very confrontational. Have you ever been in a conversation when the person's talking and you're thinking about what you're going to say next? Or they make a comment about something that they've done or something that's important to them, and because you've done it or it's important to you too, you almost interrupt them and say, oh, I've been there too. I've experienced that too. That's happened to me too. Is it possible that that then takes away everything that the person was wanting to share with you? They were opening up and they shared with you, I've been to this place, I've done this thing, I've experienced this. And you tell them that you've done it too. It almost, well, not almost, it means now that you're more important than they are. And how do you build a relationship with somebody if you have become more important than they are? Is it possible that if you want to build a relationship, that person has to feel valued by you? So there's a very simple way to do that, of course, and I'm very glad somebody taught me this a very long time ago. How about ask more questions? If you're talking about you, you're talking about somebody that you already know. What if the other person's not interested in you? But if you ask questions, now you can find out about the other person. But the key is that when they are answering your question, you listen to the answers and then ask 2 or 3 more questions about each answer. It's a very unique and special communication tip. Very few people use it, and you'll notice that the very successful people who do use it build relationships much quicker, and they have more, and I say more special people in their life. People treat them better. They have more special relationships because they treat other people as if they are special. So it's a bit of an uppercut, and I've certainly had to learn this the hard way. If I talk about me, who cares? If I'm interested in another person, then I'm more likely to build the relationship. So there are 2 questions there. Are you interested or interesting, and could it be more important to be interested in the other person? The next thing that makes us really boring, of course, is the way we open a conversation. And most people it will be, hi, how are you? First of all, if you've ever asked somebody how they are and got a big long list of I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I've got a sore toe, I've got a water on my finger, my kids are driving me crazy, and I hate my job, you'll wish you never asked somebody hi, how are you today? So if you want a great answer, could it be a good idea to ask a better question? So here's a really fun one. Tell me about how awesome you are today. Tell me the best thing that's happened to you today. Why are you great today? Tell me something awesome. Which is a very unique and different way to open a conversation. Boring is, hi, how are you? And that particular question, apart from the fact that most people don't care how you are, if you tell them, they will care about you even less. Because unless you've got something amazing happening in your life, but it would have to be amazing to them, not just to you. Isn't it interesting how communication is about being selfless rather than selfish? And it seems that the world is mostly selfish, have you noticed? So ask, first interaction, first impression, obviously lean forward, maintain eye contact, open up your body language and actively listen. I'm going to say that again because I've rattled it off because I've learnt to do it, and I learnt the hard way that how important it is. But if you've ever been in a conversation where the person's been looking around and hasn't been taking any notice of you, if you've ever been in a conversation where somebody's got all their arms crossed, their legs crossed, and their whole body language seems negative, if you've ever spoken with somebody who just doesn't seem interested in what you've got to say, these things are really important, obviously. So lean forward. If I lean back, it means I'm arrogant and I'm not interested. If I lean forward, it means I'm genuinely interested. And you'll know that if somebody wants to listen to what you've got to say, they'll lean forward. So lean forward, maintain eye contact rather than looking around. Open your body language rather than keep it closed. Because if you close up, there's a barrier between you and the person communicating with you. And then actively listen to what they've got to say. So you don't actually say anything. It's yes, really, wow, tell me about that. How does that work? Really, that's awesome. I'm not really saying anything. I'm just actively listening. So I'm saying words that add to the conversation but don't steal from the conversation. Then there's a very superb, sophisticated, unique thing to do, which is pause before replying. So if you think the person's finished talking, so lean forward, maintain eye contact, open up your body language, ask great questions, actively listen to the answers, ask 2 or 3 more questions about each answer. Then if you think the person has stopped talking, pause. Particularly because if they've asked you a question, you have to listen to the question, then you have to process the question, and then you have to be able to answer. If you can answer straight away, doesn't that automatically say that you weren't listening to what they had to say because you could speak straight away, which means you were thinking about what you were going to say next rather than listening to what they had to say? So pause. Now, the interesting thing about the pause, is it possible that if you pause, the person will think, oh, I need to talk more, which means you will get more information. You'll get more answers to your questions. You'll be able to communicate more effectively because you'll have more information. Isn't that awesome? So pause before replying. And then a really very special thing to do is to paraphrase back, which simply means in a very short sentence, tell them you were listening to what they had to say. So, Rowie, what you were sharing with me is you would like me to do this, 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 and this, which automatically tells the person that I was listening to what they had to say, because how could I paraphrase back if I wasn't listening? So if I put that into a beautiful pink box that doesn't fall out of the sky, but certainly makes us more or better communicators, more interesting to be with, more fun to be around, less boring. Be interested rather than interesting. The only way to do that is to ask great questions. Open up every conversation with something that isn't, hi, how are you? Because you might be told how they are and you could be there for a very long time. Versus, tell me about you. Tell me something awesome. What's happened today? That's amazing. Force people to think positive rather than negative. Because most people, as you will notice, will go to the negative first. It's a rainy day. It's a terrible day. I've got a sore foot. Versus, I've asked you to tell me something exciting, something interesting, so now my brain has to do what I've been asked to do. And this, again, is an interesting side note for that. We've been taught since we were little kids that if somebody asks us a question, our brain automatically searches for the answer. We were taught that as little babies, as soon as we could talk. So if I say to somebody, tell me something exciting, their brain doesn't go, oh, I'm going to come up with something boring instead. Their brain automatically thinks about, well, what can I tell Rowie that's exciting? I want to be a superb communicator, and I think that's the foundation or the fundamentals of any conversation, isn't it? If you don't care about people, if you're not genuinely interested in what they've got to say, could it be a good idea not to talk at all? Don't get involved in conversations that you don't want to add value to or add value to the person's life. And if you really do want to add value and you do want to share that you are interested rather than interesting, is it possible that we'll ask more questions and we'll shut up and listen? Could that be a good idea if you want to live your life to the max with great people in your life? Live your life to the max with great people in your life. Woohoo!